delicate structure and full milky taste. Simple preparation and very wide use in the kitchen. Today I prepare a French classic with a touch of nutmeg. Good day dear friends, welcome to another episode of the Culinary Masterclass supported by la Fondation pour la Formation Hôtelière. Today we will prepare one of the 5 so-called mothers, or basic sauces of French cuisine. It is a warm light sauce, it is a bechamel sauce. There are 2 or 3 recipes for preparing bechamel sauce, and we will prepare the basic recipe. Bechamel sauce is the basic sauce. With the addition of some ingredients we get a derived sauce. We can make it thinner or thicker and then we can use it as a sauce, for basting some dishes like lasagna, for gratin, and if it is thicker we can use it for some fillings, so depending on what we are going to use it for we can make a shade thinner or thicker sauce. So let's start with the preparation. We have heated the milk here in the pan, and now we will add the butter to the cold pan, because we want it to melt slowly and gradually. If we put butter in a hot pan, it can burn very quickly and the bechamel sauce will not work. Add butter to the cold pan. You can see how the butter gradually melts. Shake the pan a little so that the butter melts faster. Then we will add flour, usually white flour, to the melted butter. We have set the medium temperature, but we can also move the pan and thus dose the temperature from the heating element. The basic recipe is simple and only a few ingredients are needed for preparation. Bechamel is prepared from 3 basic ingredients: butter, flour and milk, and salt. White pepper and nutmeg are used as spices. A very simple sauce, but it really has many uses in the kitchen, both in the world and in our home, and we often use it for au gratin dishes. Now the butter has melted and we will add the flour. Here we have 100 grams of butter and 100 grams of flour. We mix well until we fry the flour in a light spray, the French would say, roux. We press the wooden cooking spoon well so that we remove everything from the bottom of the container and then add hot milk little by little. Now we already leave our wooden cooking spoon and take the whisk because we want to break up all the lumps. Add warm milk little by little and stir constantly. As I said before, when mixing, press to scrape everything off the bottom of the pan, so it doesn't burn. Now we mix a little faster and harder to break all the lumps and get a compact mass and then add the milk again. We add hot milk to prevent lumps. If we add cold milk there is a greater possibility of lumps. If lumps form, then the quality of the bechamel sauce may be reduced, and then we need to strain it and mix it additionally. And when we add hot milk like now with constant stirring, we get a sauce like this, here you see, without lumps. It takes us about 25 minutes to make the bechamel sauce. Why so long? So that the taste of raw flour is lost. That's why we need to cook for so long. It needs to be constantly stirred, cooked, and we must not leave it for even a minute or two to do something else, and we have to constantly stir so that it does not burn. Now let's leave the whisk and take the wooden cooking spoon again to stir, because, look, a large amount of flour has gathered along the edges of the saucepan that the whisk cannot pick up, and now we solve this with the help of the whisk. Stir well along the edges. Pour it into the saucepan. Add the milk and stir. "100 grams of butter, 100 grams of flour, and 1.5 liters of milk. You will find different recipes. You can add 2 liters of milk to make it a thinner sauce. You can add 1 liter of milk to make it a thick sauce, but then it will be an extremely thick sauce. You need to pay attention. The sauce has one thickness while hot, but when it cools down, it thickens, and can become thick like a pudding. But that doesn't matter so much, because depending on what we are going to use the sauce for. After keeping it in the fridge for a maximum of 3 days, we heat the sauce again, and if it needs to be thinner, we add milk as needed. Of course, you will need some practice and trying out the exact measurements to get the thickness of the sauce that suits you. The sauce may burn sometimes, but don't give up, just cook and practice. You can prepare the bechamel sauce in 2 or 3 days, but my recommendation is that, since it is not a long and complicated preparation of this sauce, I recommend that you prepare it day by day and dose the density depending on what you need the sauce for. And look, that's the thickness we need, and now we're going to season the sauce by adding salt, white pepper, and nutmeg. If you don't have white pepper, you can use black pepper, but now you can also buy white pepper. Here is what my friend Marco brought me from a trip. Here I will put it in this mill. It is a good option if you have someone traveling to Istanbul to buy spices for you, as they are of very good quality there. Here, I will immediately grind directly in the pot. And it is better to use freshly ground pepper because it has a better and stronger aroma. See how thick this is? It needs another 5 minutes to cook, and we will add spices. You can see how much lighter this pepper is than black, and why we use white, because it is milder than black and will not stand out much in a white sauce. Stir well along the edges so that it does not burn. Add a little salt and nutmeg. If you don't know what nutmeg looks like in a whole piece, I'll show you now. Here, this is nutmeg. Now whole like this it does not have any aroma, but when it is grated, it releases a nice aroma and it is an indispensable ingredient of bechamel sauce precisely because of its smell. This side of the grater is for grating nutmeg. That's it, our bechamel sauce is ready. Like I said. That's it, our bechamel sauce is ready. The bechamel sauce is ready, the consistency is as it should be and the taste is classic, milky with a nutmeg aroma. Now that the sauce is warm, pour it into a suitable container, cover it with transparent plastic wrap, by sticking it on the surface so that a crust does not form. Let it cool naturally and then put it in the refrigerator. When we need it, we heat it up and use it to prepare various dishes, to improve the taste, enrich the dish. If it happens that lumps form in your sauce, it is not a big mistake, just take a small strainer and strain and you have eliminated that mistake. So there is always a solution. Sauces serve to improve the quality of each dish, to complete and enrich it, and this is one of the 5 basic sauces and belongs to the group of light warm sauces. This is bechamel sauce. In addition to bechamel, the 5 basic sauces of French cuisine include velouté sauce, tomato sauce, espagnole sauce and hollandaise sauce. This is bechamel and it is the basic sauce, but with the addition of cheese. For example, we get mornay sauce, which we can use for some gratin dishes, for stuffing, for some steaks, so there are really many variations where we can use this sauce. In any case, cook, enjoy the kitchen, don't be afraid, of course mistakes happen. I've been working in the kitchen for 25 years and mistakes often happen in the kitchen, because it depends on many factors whether the dish will be delicious. In any case, always add love to the preparation of the dish because it is the basic ingredient of every top-notch dish. It takes a little willpower and a lot of time to gain experience in the kitchen. Until next time, enjoy and cook.